Okay, so I'm just sounding off as I drink my third coffee of the day. I haven't been sleeping well, and I'm not sure why. I've been very on edge lately. I don't know if it's the weather, I don't know if it's just a funk, but anyway, I haven't been sleeping well, so third coffee of the day. But I was just posting on Reddit. I love Reddit. I don't know how you guys feel about Reddit. There's a lot of motorcycles out today. I don't know what's happening. Um, Reddit. I love Reddit, and I was commenting about BravoCon, and I got all this engagement with other Reddit users who I guess feel similarly, and I was curious what you guys think. If any of you guys watch trashy reality TV, if you watch Bravo, you might be familiar with BravoCon. So BravoCon is this conference that I guess just ended, in-person real-life conference. It's pretty genius as a concept. They have all these Bravo reality TV stars come, so the Real Housewives, the $1 Million Listing people, the Below Deck people, and then you can do meet and greets. So like fans will show up. I guess they probably pay for tickets for the conference. It's a whole business thing, right? But it's very smart because it helps build and maintain this community sense among people who are addicted to reality TV shows and are active on Reddit, active on social media. It keeps them watching the shows. It's a great marketing tool. And obviously, it's a business at the end of the day. They sell tickets. You know, I don't know what the cut is for Bravo, how much money they take home, but it's a whole event that they have merchandise for and brand sponsorships and all that stuff. Anyway, I've been watching clips the last few days of BravoCon, and I'm like really grossed out by how toxic the content feels. I think especially because they're doing it in front of a live audience. So it feels very mean-spirited to me. Andy Cohen, one of the producers at Bravo, he'll ask these questions that are intended to elicit like a gossipy, bitchy answer from one reality TV star about another, and oftentimes both are on the stage. And then the audience in this like mega theater chants and boos in unison. And I always get really turned off by mob mentality in general. Like that's a thing for me. Anything like that feels like a gladiator arena where people just become animals and they become very primitive and they're very like raw and emotional in a way that is usually not constructive, right? So everything about it has just been, just watching it, I've been feeling like uneasy. And so I commented on Reddit about this and people were like, I agree with you, it's very toxic. And I wonder how long these networks are gonna keep this kind of thing up, because I think what really happened, right? And we see this with, I've worked for companies, not in reality TV, but I've worked for companies where I've seen this, this desperation for profit where they do something well, profit comes through, and then there develops this obsession with recreating that success in a formulaic way. But then it's not organic, right? So it's like you have these corporate entities forcing this thing to happen to the point where they beat it into the ground. And like anything else, once it's too much, once it's like being forced, you actually turn off the audience. So what we're seeing with these reality TV shows is I think they want to milk these TV shows, especially the Real Housewives franchise, as much as possible, knowing that like the shelf life is probably coming to an end soon. Like these shows have gone as controversial as they can go. It's gone as dark as it can with some of the themes and the fights, physical, verbal, on social media, off social media. And so I think these events like BravoCon are kind of like the last attempt by the powers that be at Bravo to really, and NBC, I think Bravo's owned by NBC if I remember right, to really milk this and drain out the profit from these sort of toxic behaviors from reality TV stars as much as possible. But to the point where now it feels contrived and it just feels mean. It doesn't even feel like you're watching genuine friendships unfold and things happen. So I just want to know, am I alone in this? For those of you who have watched shows like this in the past, like that's not entertaining to me. At a certain point, it just feels kind of pathetic and like a cultural thing that I don't want to be associated with. And I was telling a friend who watches all these shows recently, I was like, I think I want to stop watching these shows, because we're part of the problem if we're watching this programming. Like, by watching, you're supporting, and by supporting, you're encouraging these cultural phenomenons rooted in like being shady. And I don't get that. To me, it's a lot like drag queen culture. It's so rooted in like, well, I'm gonna tell you how you are. I'm gonna spill the tea. And so much of it is toxic, and it's mean, and it's humorous to an extent, but then it just becomes like cruel. Somebody recently said to me, we were at a friend's apartment, and she was saying, in life you have to pay attention to the moments where you lose your sense of humor. And I thought that was a very clever way of framing at what point you trust your instincts with like a mean friend or family member that you feel like you can't trust, right? This idea of when you lose your sense of humor, that's when it goes too far. That's how you know, okay, I don't like where this is going. Maybe I'm just too sensitive. I don't know. Maybe I'm getting older and wiser, more, I don't know, more mature, and this stuff to me feels petty and silly. So maybe it's me changing, not the programming changing, but it feels to me like the programming is getting more and more edgy, but not in an interesting way. Edgy in like a mean, toxic way. What do you guys think about this?